To me personally, I really felt the love of God in such a powerful way that I felt like God had met us there in the midst of these children that had lives that were devastated, and now they're transformed by the power of God.
So one of the greatest things about going on a missions trip is prayer. Lots of prayer. And at Zoe, they really, really stress prayer a lot. And they teach the kids how to pray. And I was completely slayed when these little children came and placed their hands all around me and began to pray.
The only thing I really knew how to do with children was to make gingerbread houses. And I must say those hours that I spent with the children making those gingerbread houses, and then they took them to their families.
When we went to a public school that was basically Buddhist, with Buddhist shrines and Buddhist altars to worship at, and we brought the power of God's salvation and the word of salvation into that school, and 35 kids raised their hands to accept God's salvation and God's forgiveness, and that just blew me away.
My favorite part of the Zoe mission trip was being able to leave my life behind and spend 12 days seeking and following God's will. At the leper colony, we had met a woman who'd been a missionary there for over 40 years. God's plan ended up that we were there to encourage her, lift her up, and to bless the home with a love offering.
The Lord wants us to trust Him. During an outreach at a remote location, a truck was supposed to come and spray water at the site to dampen the dirt and not make it so dusty, but the truck broke down on the way, and the Lord provided a light rain just to make it damp enough that it would dampen the dust but not make it muddy.
One of the requirements of our missions trip was to teach an elective. So as a makeup artist, I naturally chose stage makeup. I didn't have to be a nurse, I didn't have to be a teacher, that God could use me just where I was and use my talents.
The Lord utilized my spiritual gift of teaching and the study of His Word, where I got to share with the Bible college students over there.
I met a young man from India who spoke fluent English, and at one point in our conversation, he acknowledged that for him to come all the way from India to meet someone all the way from the United States in Thailand was of divine influence. Scripture says that God searches the earth to and fro to find the hearts of those who will love Him, and He goes to great lengths to share the gospel with them.
Next to becoming a Christian, I would have to say that our trip to Thailand was the most unforgettable and life-impacting experience in my life.
Zoe Children's Home is a great ministry. It's a lot like Calvary Chapel of Oxnard. They do things with excellence.
So as a believer, we are always called to be ready. And being ready means get your passport. Let's go.